Welcome in 304 podcast. What's going on tonight, guys?
Yo, what is up?
So,
Not much.
so far tonight, guys, we got me, Marcus, Dean, and McFly. We're waiting for a couple others to potentially get on, but we just figured, we're just gonna start because we're the most interesting three of the group.
Dun, dun, dun.
If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to share and give us a thumbs up. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button with that little bell. We got lots of live stuff happening all the time, and I'm sure you want to tune in for it. Guys, this is the night where we get together and do a thing called a Sporgy, and that's just kind of a mix between sports, pop culture, and a little bit of everything. We talk everything but politics.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
But everybody watching, thanks for tuning in. Let's start with a little bit of sports. Do what?
Nothing. I just said, you said no politics. I said, so who did you vote for?
I abstain. We're going to start tonight with a little bit of football talk. And then we're going to go in. I've got a couple people I want to tag once we start talking. I've got a couple stories I want to tell, paranormal stories, because I made a post on Facebook and some people were asking to hear those stories. So I figured it was easier to tell them than to post them. So we'll do football talk first and then we'll get to that.
And don't forget, we have a special announcement tonight.
We do?
Very special.
Yep.
Oh, very. Yes, very.
Oh, God. So I need to just go ahead and kick you out.
It's something McFly's been helping me work on.
Oh, God.
I have.
Dear Lord, baby Jesus. Anyway, guys, who do you think's hit the home runs and who's whiffed it? Let's start with Russell Wilson going to the Broncos. You think that was a home run for the Broncos? Was it a home run for the Seahawks too?
Go ahead, Marcus. Yeah.
I'm gonna say home run because for the simple fact that the Broncos have always been on the cusp. I mean, since Peyton Manning's been gone, they were great when Peyton Manning was there. They won a Super Bowl when Peyton Manning was there. Then when Peyton Manning decided to retire, they went through a series of quarterbacks. They whiffed on every single one that they got. They gave away the freaking farm, but they got a quarterback that could play there for the next 10 years, barring any, injuries or anything crazy. They went out and got Russell Wilson from the Seahawks. I think they overpaid in terms of draft picks, but I kind of like the ballsy strategy by John Elway and company, and bringing him in and swinging for the fences. And because they've always, since John Elway has been president of football operations, they've never had a quarterback that been on John Elway's level or Peyton Manning's level. And now they finally got somebody in Russell Wilson.
Well, John Elway's ballsy. I mean, he's been ballsy since taking on the front office there, and I think we all respect the ballsiness that he showed. I mean, it's led to some success. McFly, who's had, in your opinion, what do you think's been the biggest, maybe the biggest trade or the biggest letdown so far of the 2022 NFL year?
Cowboys. I think Dallas Cowboys are kind of they're getting rid of a lot of their good players. Well, not necessarily getting rid of, but they're not keeping them. Randy Gregory, he's headed out now, and actually they signed him, or not signed him, but they almost got him to a contract. But Stephen Jones, he decided to change something in the contract very last second. But I guess it's a normal thing in the contract amongst the rest of the Cowboys roster, besides Dak. It's not in Dak's roster or Dak's contract. It's where if you get fined or suspended, I guess part or maybe whole of the contract can be voided or something like that. But Randy didn't like that, and I don't blame him. And quite frankly, he made the right choice. He got out of Dallas. He made the right choice. That's what actually I was looking at my phone while Marcus was talking. I was trying to figure out who was the edge rusher that Denver got, and it was Randy Gregory. But Dallas is the biggest whiff. But Denver, I don't think they oversold. I think Russell Wilson's good. In Seattle, they got a decent haul back, but they got something for someone that was wanting out. So if you get anything for someone that wants out, then it's a good haul. But Dallas is the biggest whiff, biggest.
Well, I agree. I think that's funny, dude.
I've got a 5 head.
I agree with you. I think Dallas. I expected some more moves. Keeping more players or being in the talks for some of the big names that's been out there, and it just hasn't happened.
Yep.
I think Miami has been a big winner in the off season so far too. And with the rumors that they may be trying to actually finagle a trade for Tom Brady, a lot of people are going to roll their eyes at that. But there's actually some good chatter about that and why Tom Brady would actually be interested in going to Miami at this point. How big of a shock would that be to see Tom Brady move on from Tampa Bay and go to Miami?
It wouldn't, because that could be the next challenge. Miami hasn't won a Super Bowl in forever. And that would just further cement his legacy. He went to 3 different franchises, won Super Bowls at 3 different locations. I mean, they've already put a piece there in Tyreek Hill. I mean, Miami got a ton of draft picks. And, I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, with Miami, they traded a lot for Tyreek. But they also have 2 first-round picks still next year. And Miami, they loaded up, at least on the offensive line. I mean, they've had some good free agency pickups. The AFC, I'm so sorry. This is dumb. I can't figure out what to say. Miami and Buffalo, they're in the same division, right?
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
AFC East?
East. Yep. AFC East. Yep.
Miami and Buffalo, they loaded up. I mean,
Yeah,
Buffalo
especially
loaded
Buffalo.
up too. Yeah, Buffalo loaded up too. Miami, it wouldn't shock me at all if Brady got traded to there. It just wouldn't. After Brady left New England and then he retired and then came back, it wouldn't surprise me even if he got traded to the Texans. It would not. It just wouldn't surprise me. But it would be a good move. Quite frankly, I wouldn't trade Brady for Tua. I wouldn't unless I'm getting, at least 3 first-round picks, at least.
Well, and I think, a lot of that's in Tom Brady's hands. I think they'll do whatever he wants. They'll figure something out. Because, he's just, I think he's looking for the next challenge. I think you're right. My question is, Deshaun Watson to the Browns.
Oh, my God.
I don't like that. I don't like it. I think as you guys saw in our chat the other day, comparing the stats between Brett Favre's first 4 years and Baker Mayfield's first 4 years, they are identical, like completely, almost identical. And I think they're really sleeping on Baker. What do we think is going to happen to Baker, and how shitty is Cleveland for what they've done to him?
Cleveland is so shitty.
How shitty are they?
How shitty?
Very shitty. No, they're doing typical Cleveland bullshit. They get a breath of greatness or a whiff of something good. They do something good. It's like taking 2 steps forward and 10 steps back. In my opinion, they took 2 steps forward with Baker. They're trying to sabotage Baker because, one, he played hurt all year last year with a separated shoulder. He played basically with a separated shoulder and played, not up to his potential, didn't have a great year, but they still, to the very end, to the very last 2 games of the season, had a chance to make the playoffs. And would they have made the playoffs? Would they be in this conversation? Would Deshaun Watson be in Cleveland? I don't think so. I think what it was is the media in Cleveland is so toxic. And I can say this because my family's from Cleveland and I know how Cleveland media is. They want their glory days back. They want a Bernie Kosar back. They have a Bernie Kosar and Baker Mayfield. But the front office of Cleveland couldn't beat themselves out of a wet paper bag. They're idiots for doing this. I mean, who's to say Deshaun Watson's going to even play next year? I mean, yeah, he's beat his civil suits, and everybody deserves a second chance. I'm not here to criticize the man. I mean, if he did what he did, he did what he did. Not my problem. But Cleveland just basically signed into a brand new 5-year, $230 million deal, guaranteed money.
250.
And 250.
Mm-hmm. Guaranteed,
well,
fully
guaranteed. They could have done that for Baker. Why couldn't they have done that for Baker? I mean, he took
They
him.
shouldn't.
He's took that franchise further than anyone else since Bernie Kosar.
Yep.
And the way I look at it, them trying to bring in Deshaun Watson and just shit on everything Baker's done for you. That's just like, it's like slapping your mother.
Well, I mean, and I agree with you. I think the front office of the Browns has just been looking for the next shiny thing to come along, and that was Deshaun Watson. And so they decided to move on. So, McFly, where do you think Baker ends up? What landing spots do you see could be, in the future for Baker?
I think he's going to end up in Seattle. I think that he probably will not be traded until maybe right before training camp or probably during training camp. It honestly would be surprising if he's traded right before the regular season starts. Cleveland's asking for a first-round pick in return. And it's really weird because they've done their best to make sure that they publicly devalue Baker. And I don't understand why they would like to have a first-round pick in return. I know why they're doing it. They want to make up the grounds for trading away their whole entire future for Deshaun. And actually, look, I know Deshaun had some off-the-field issues, and that's just speaking at the slightest. But Deshaun Watson, he's good. I think he's worth the haul, but he's not worth the salary. I don't think there's anyone in the history of the NFL that's worth that contract at all.
I think he could. I think he could be worth it. The way I see Deshaun Watson, though, I look at him at two ways. He's a sub 500 quarterback because his record, that's what his record shows. And I think he's one of the best stat patters in the league. That's my personal opinion. I think that a lot of his success is just him stat padding, and that I have a feeling this is going to bite Cleveland so hard on the ass that
I hope so.
I hope it does.
I mean, we're going to be laughing about it forever. But continue.
Yeah, I do think Seattle is going to be the end spot. Other teams like Carolina, now it's been reported that they're not interested in him, which it makes sense. It's fine. Let's face it, Baker's not a bust. I wouldn't say he's a bust, but he's a disappointment. He was the first round pick or the first pick of the draft, Heisman. It's been disappointing for him. But the fact that since October, at least this was reported today, October, Cleveland was reaching out to Houston about Deshaun. And while they're telling Baker, you're a quarterback. In which, look, I get it.
So shitty.
It is. It really is. And it's funny because the whole entire town of Cleveland, or at least the Cleveland fan base, last week, they were defending him hardcore. No, we don't want Deshaun. It's fine. We got Baker. He hasn't played great, but he's one of us. He wanted to come here. He was perfectly fine being here, and he would stay here. And then they got Deshaun. And they immediately, all of them, I won't say all, 99%. 99% of them completely flipped on Baker. Oh, you suck. He posted on Facebook, Instagram, about I think it was like a pet adoption kind of thing or whatever, and it was probably an endorsement, but he posted it, and all the comments were Cleveland fans just fucking trashing him. I was like, what the fuck did he do? The whole entire time he was there, he stuck up for y'all. He stuck up for that shitty organization that y'all want to support. Deshaun, sit. Let's see Cleveland lose 9 games in his first 2 years. Let's see how happy y'all are with Deshaun.
I mean,
Paying
because
him.
that's what's going to happen. I mean, that's his record. That's what he's going to do. And like I said, like people may not agree with it, but if you do look at the stats between Brett Favre, I've said since he came into the league, that's who Baker Mayfield reminded me of was Brett Favre. And if you compare their first 4 years, they're identical. They're absolutely identical. And I just think there's more there than meets the eye. I think he's been injured longer than we think he has. I think there's been more dissension going on than we know. And I think if he can get the hell out of Cleveland and get somewhere that's stable, I think you're going to see good things out of him. I really do. I think he's a little bit better than he gets credit for, and I hope he sticks it up the Browns' ass. Plainly put. Guys, it looks like St. Peter's Peacocks are going to beat Purdue.
Oh, no.
How about them Cox, man? Hell yeah.
2-point game with 25 seconds left. St. Peter's up. So, awesome.
Mm-mm-mm.
They're boiling some acres tonight.
Yeah.
Tim talking shit. What are you talking, Tim? Shut up. No, he won't.
No.
Vontae Mack. Perfect
Manziel.
analogy right there.
There you go. Yeah, Vontae Mack no matter what. Yeah.
Oh, perfect analogy. Reminds me of the movie Draft Day. Cleveland just gave away the farm for Deshaun. Basically, they gave away the farm for the farm for Bo Callahan, the shiny new present.
You know what's funny is that they did that with Seattle in the movie with the Seahawks, and they're most likely going to have to trade Baker to Seattle in real life.
How funny is that?
And it's funny, but actually, to base off of the last conversation is that I wouldn't give first round pick. Quite frankly, I think Baker's worth a day 2 pick. I don't think he's worth a 5th, 6th, or 7th. I think they could get a 3rd rounder out of him. I think they could. And I think they should. I wouldn't give a second. I wouldn't.
From what I've read, teams that have been kind of looking at him a little bit or talking around a 4th rounder and still making Cleveland pay a big chunk of that salary.
Yep.
I mean,
and if Cleveland's going to do that, they want a draft pick instead. Yep.
Cleveland's going to eat a lot of crap on this one. They really are. And I honestly think after the things I've read today, I think he could really end up in Pittsburgh. I think that would actually be a really good fit. Uh-oh, wait a minute. I think it's final.
What?
St. Peter's 67, Purdue 64.
Oh, wow.
Cox. Nice.
That's awesome, man. When's the last time you seen a number 15 seed go on to the Elite Eight? And the fact is this 15 seed could actually win it all. They have the talent to do it.
That would be funny.
I'm rooting for it.
I am too.
I hope so.
Go Cox.
I'm rooting for it. OU didn't do anything. OU went to the NIT.
That's okay.
That's fun. I mean, I'm not a big college basketball guy, and until it's around this time of the year. Now I'll probably start watching. It's boring to me. There's a lot of missed shots. I agree.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you something that's funny is West Virginia. They what's the one below the NIT? There's another tournament. There's the NCAA, the NIT, and then another one. The men's team got invited to that one, and they turned it down. And then the women got invited to the NIT, and they turned it down because they didn't have enough players to field a team because so many of them had already went into the portal.
Damn,
what,
that's shitty.
Basketball?
Yeah.
Wow.
That sucks.
Yeah, I mean, what happens when these kids start going into the portal at the end of the season when they could be going into the NCAA tournament? Because it's going to happen. There's going to be kids that be like, who gives a shit? I mean, it's going to happen.
It shouldn't be allowed until your season is officially over.
Yeah.
I agree.
It should not be allowed. No.
What do we think about the Tennessee Volunteers recruit getting an $8 million NIL deal?
And he's not the only, and he's not going to be the only one. I'll just leave that there.
Talk about it.
It's crazy. I mean, $8 million.
No one will either confirm nor deny it was Nico, but they kept on saying it's a kid from California who signed an endorsement deal. Basically, it's a $2 million deal per season for however long he's at Tennessee.
What?
Yeah.
Who's this guy?
What's up, CP? Look at this guy.
What?
What?
How was that chips and queso?
What? Wasn't bad.
Where'd you go?
I went to Alfredo's.
Beefy.
Alfredo's.
So-
known for their Mexican food.
So what's the deal, Marcus? We're talking about NIL, that kid from Tennessee that got an $8 million NIL deal.
And not to mention a Mercedes SUV. But that's no here nor there. That's
did
no
not
here
know
nor
that.
there. The black on, if you go on Twitter, if you see the black on black SUV in his Twitter post that he's took picture with him and Coach Heupel and all of the other recruits that was with him. That's his SUV now.
No.
I mean, that's just crazy that, like, college sport, like, we've talked about this before. Like, we've talked about a lot about the NIL and all that stuff. But, I mean, like, it's like the further down the rabbit hole we get, the worse it gets. Like, it just continually gets worse and worse and worse. And the have-nots and the have-haves, I mean, that difference just keeps growing. What happens when, these blue blood teams starts telling the NCAA to stick it up their butts and they all run away from the NCAA forming their own conference and then just leave everybody else to fend for themselves. Like, 'cause I see that's where it's headed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Who we are? The kid y'all interviewed Thursday, right? You and Tim. We were talking about it. It's like I mean, this new league, which right now we got to assume it's no different than any other league that's trying to pop up. But I mean, these kind of leagues that can lead to that. It's like, hey, I mean, why would I go to college whenever I can go make 40, 50, 60 grand a year or whatever, just playing football for now. And then in 3 years, I can go pro. Or if that's not happening, if you can't do that, then all right, cool. I'm a high school kid. I do want to play D1 football, but I don't have the grades for it. Well, instead of going JUCO, I'll just go pro or semi-pro or whatever. Because
And
the thing is, though, because with the rule, you can't go and make money for your sport and then go back to college. You won't be eligible.
Yeah. I mean, that's the direction it's going. I mean, it's kind of sad because it's like the NCAA is just sitting back letting it happen. There's so many things they could do to cap these NIL deals and stuff, because now you're in the land of, well, if they decide we're just going to do away with NIL, we open the floodgates. It's not going to work. It's not fair. And then all of a sudden the kids start suing the NCAA because they're impairing their ability to work. Like, we've already crossed that barrier where there's really no going back. But if you don't do something, I mean, I can't imagine paying one kid $8 million. Like, I can't fathom that.
Well,
What if he sucks?
Well, look at it this way. If he's the next Peyton Manning, would $8 million be worth it?
Hell yeah.
That's
What
just
if he's
the thing, though.
What if he's Josh Dobbs? Is he worth it?
Was Josh Dobbs worth $8 million?
Hell no.
No. Maybe.
But that's the thing.
He was
though,
serviceable,
is
definitely.
Yeah.
It is these teams, and Tennessee's a perfect example. They're going to pay this kid $8 million to come quarterback their team. They're probably going to have other 4- and 5-star quarterbacks right behind him that are just as capable, right? And then they still have to beat Alabama, and that one $8 million player ain't going to be enough. I mean, that's the thing, is like, you still have to beat the schools that can recruit well. You still have to beat Oklahoma. You still have to beat Alabama. You still have to beat Georgia. You still have to beat these teams that perennially pull in good talent from top to bottom, and paying one player or a couple of players just isn't going to be enough.
Yeah, you're right, but that's the beauty of NIL. I mean, if you can get a good recruiting class to go with some of these players you paid an astronomical amount for, I mean, maybe it could be something. Maybe they might come back from not necessarily mediocrity. Maybe they might come back to their glory days.
Mark's audio picked up all of him drinking that.
Did it really?
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
Picks
think
up
about
all
this
of your
too.
audio.
Think about this too, man. How would you feel being a backup quarterback in the NFL getting paid less than a freshman in college?
It would suck.
Because that's happening right now. I mean, because
Yeah, it is. It is.
League minimum for a quarterback $750,000.
Well, I'll tell you another story. It's not really a big NIL, but Taven Jackson, the prize litter from this year's recruiting class for Tennessee, who's a quarterback, who's on campus right now participating in spring ball, has a $750,000 NIL deal. And he's the backup. Well, he's not even starting this year. You have Hendon Hooker, he'll be your starter. Joe Milton will be your backup. Then Taven Jackson's probably going to be your third stringer or run the scout team or even redshirt, and he's still going to make bank.
How long do these kids hang out for NIL money and not play?
Oh, we've seen it already. We've already seen it.
I mean, it's just going to be a revolving door of kids just hitting the portal and exploding out into the country.
Absolutely.
It's like that Florida State kid. He's holding out. He's holding out because he has no NIL deal.
Well, and he just entered the portal today.
Cool. I hope he doesn't go anywhere. I hope he fails. I mean, get serious. I hope he fucking fails. I know it sounds terrible, but I hope he fails. Hope he gets nothing.
Well, and I think some of the college teams are going to have to start sending messages to some of these kids. Especially ones that hold out because they don't have an NIL deal. They need to just come together and be like, well, we're just going to leave you in the portal then and tough shit.
Or just say, hey, go play Arena Football League for 3 years and then go pro. Do that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't make $30,000 a year and then you can go tear your ACL.
Pray you don't get hurt. Or you could go to Canada, play the CFL, or go to play in the USFL.
Yeah.
Or is the USFL even accepting college kids?
High school kids?
Or high school kids or whatever.
I have no clue, to be honest. I have no clue. I don't know.
I would imagine since they're kind of working with the NFL more than they ever have, there's going to be some sort of, you have to have this amount of time in college before you can play here kind of deal, because then the NFL is not going to let them undermine the NFL.
Yeah.
So
they have that rule where you don't even have to go to college to go pro. Adrian Peterson could have graduated. Yeah, technically, yeah. Adrian Peterson could have graduated from his high school and sat for 3 years training, didn't play for school, didn't play for OU, and then he could have entered the draft. And that's real. You only have to be 3 years removed from high school in order to be draft eligible.
But
we're all draft eligible.
We are all draft. I mean, technically anybody can declare for draft.
We should kind of let's just submit our names. Let's just show up for the draft next year.
Let's submit Tim's name. Let's make it fun. Let's do it to somebody that's not expecting. We'll submit Tim's name.
We'll show all of us show up to the combine.
We'll get Puck a Steelers contract.
Yeah.
I just want to play. I just want a one day roster spot. It was 1 day.
Hey,
I'm gonna retire the same day.
That would be interesting.
Hey, all right.
Well, I think it's interesting because even college teams now are having open tryouts for people. I think it was West Virginia did open tryouts. Kids just come up and try out to play at WVU. Like, I think that's something you're gonna start seeing a lot more too. I mean, some of the smaller teams are gonna have to do something to pull more players in.
We can find the next Rudy.
Well, I mean, it's interesting. The kid we interviewed Thursday, Tony. I mean, he's going to Alderson Broadus, which is a smaller school, but he was first team All-State wide receiver for single A football here. He had 11 touchdown catches, 600 yards catching. He was a punt returner, a defensive back, and he's going to Alderson Broadus. I mean, I don't know why West Virginia doesn't spend a little more time looking at local talent. I mean, he's a little undersized, but I mean, good route running makes up for that,
Yeah. Well,
So
I mean,
sorry, go on, Marcus.
I mean, did he have any tape out there? I wonder.
Yeah. If you get on Huddle, he has all kinds of stuff on there. Now, the difference between him and the other guys we've interviewed was they went to 247 Sports, like athletic,
The camps,
camps and stuff,
Yeah.
and got in with 247 Sports, whereas he didn't have that opportunity or take that opportunity. So that's the thing I'm gathering is like you've got to get into the in with 247 Sports to get your stuff on their site. Like that's the one thing these kids can do to get good looks is, it may cost a little bit of money. You'll just have to go to the 247 events, see what kind of star rating you get, and then, transfer your highlight video from Huddle to 247 Sports, and that's how you get more looks.
247 and Rivals. But even actually, like the main 247 and Rivals, like recruits, they still have in their Twitter bio Huddle highlights. So it's you can still do it. It sucks. It's because it's hard for those for him for athletes like him. He has to rely on him marketing himself rather than the market coming into him. And it's just unfortunate, but I guarantee you, his head coach was helping him market. His position coach is helping him marketing him, and it sucks. I mean, but he's in a good situation now. He'll get to it. I have no doubt he'll be good. He'll succeed where he's going to be. He'll succeed.
Well, and he's got that mentality. Like you can tell. Like it's so interesting interviewing these kids. Like you can tell the mentalities that they have, like that's going to help them succeed at any level, at the next level. And Bork Horizon said small schools are dead. They'll just lose any talent they have to the portal every year. And I think you're completely accurate. But I think the portal. See, to me, the portal's a good thing. NIL is the problem.
Yep.
Kids being able to go into the portal actually gives them more opportunities if they're somewhere, if they're homesick and they don't want to be where they are, they don't like their coach leaves, they don't get along with people, they get homesick, they have the opportunity to go somewhere else and they're not penalized for it. The NIL is what's ruining everything. I think, with the expectation of making money and all of that, it just completely degrades college football. Like it just, you're playing for money. You're not playing for the glory of the game, so to speak. Even though that's kind of hyperbole bullshit. I just think moving forward, if they don't do something with the NIL, that's when the blue bloods are really going to take over. And West Virginia's not a blue blood. They're not going to be able to compete with the NIL. You're looking at probably 90% of the ACC, probably 50% of the Big Ten, 30% of the SEC, 80% of the new Big 12 with Texas and Oklahoma out. They're not blue bloods. They're not going to be able to compete with the rest of those teams and paying players to come in. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. In response to Bork, you're right. I mean, they will lose talent because they'll transfer out. But on the flip side, that gives more opportunities for kids like Me, maybe. I mean, gets kids like me, like whenever I come out of high school, I had zero offers everywhere. I mean, I just was not good enough for it. But it gives more opportunities for other kids to get opportunities at those small schools, and they get a somewhat of a free education. And who knows, they might end up being something good. Ryan Fitzpatrick, look at him. I know he did not go to a small school. He went to Harvard. They don't offer athletic scholarships. They don't. Actually, a kid I went to high school with, he was actually 2 years younger than me. Jackson Stallings. He graduated from sophomore and went to Harvard to play football. And so I know for a fact they don't offer athletic scholarships, but it opens up that opportunity for it because these kids that now they're like, hey, I'm going to Abilene Christian. Cool. I'm going to transfer out to the University of Texas because I know I can. I'm going to transfer to Baylor because I know I can. Okay, well, that opens up some spots for other kids that are in smaller schools or other kids that didn't do too great their senior year in high school, but it still gets them an opportunity to get in that school and to earn a scholarship. So I honestly, I have no problem with it. I think the transfer portal is fine. I think you should be able to hold on. Transfer portal is fine, but just because your head coach leaves, I don't think you should be able to transfer. You have a small relationship with your head coach when it comes to recruiting. Your main relationship is your recruiter. And if your recruiter happens to be the head coach, then it's kind of weird that you'd even commit to a school to where the head coach isn't even, or he's recruiting you, but he's not even coaching you. Most of the times, you get your position coach to recruit you. That's how it should be. And then if they leave, or if the defensive coordinator or an offensive coordinator leaves, then I'm fine with putting your name in the portal and going.
Another thing too, I was just thinking, what do you guys think? I mean, if say you signed a big NIL deal, I think, in my personal opinion, you shouldn't get a scholarship. Your scholarship should go to someone else because you're already making. Just use Nico for example, $8 million over the next 3 to 4 years. He should have plenty enough money to pay for his own education, and that that scholarship could be used for another player.
Well, I agree with now. I do agree with that because I think when you're talking about state and federal dollars going to help pay for some of these scholarships, they should have to pay that back or forfeit it if they're making a certain amount of money, kind of like qualifying for like Medicaid and things like that. Like you qualify as long as you make under a certain amount of money, and I feel the same about scholarships. I think it should be based on your income. And that includes your NIL deals. I think one of the big things that's going to happen, and it hasn't started yet, but it will, is you're going to see a lot of girls sports suing the NCAA over Title IX and NIL deals because they're not going to have the opportunities to make $8 million a year. It's not going to happen. Now, it could for a couple. Like I could see a few schools, Connecticut, Tennessee, paying some of their girls big time money because girls basketball is king at some of those schools. But right. I think you're going. That's going to be part of it too. Is you're going to see, play rugby players, lacrosse players, all these kids that go to college that are preparing for the Olympics and stuff. They're going to be like, well, why can't we make that too? Like, why is the school have NIL deals and paying the football players, and we're not getting any of that? Like I could see it really imploding on itself at the same time too.
Yeah,
for sure.
But Borky, you're right. I mean, if you're a D-back at a small school, why would you not want to go to Bama if they're trying to pull you in? Like
because you're
totally right.
Because you won't play.
Well, but the mentality can also be, say I'm a sophomore D-back playing at West Virginia, and Bama comes in and says, come down here and play for us. And I think I might be able to compete. So I try it and go. and I win a national championship and I see that I'm not fit to play there, then I just portal out and go somewhere else and still have that national championship in my back pocket. Like, I think you're going to see some
then you have to
kids.
sit out a year.
Not necessarily. I mean,
Not necessarily.
if you graduate, you can go as a graduate.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of little loopholes to it, and it sucks. Like I said, I don't mind the portal. I like the portal. I like the opportunities it provides. It's the freaking NIL that's ruining things.
Yeah,
all that money. These kids don't need all that money.
Yep.
You know, what is it? 90% of all professional athletes retire broke anyway.
Yeah.
These kids aren't going to know what to do with that money. They're going to blow through it. You're going to see
There should be a
OD
cap.
deaths. You're going to see OD deaths. You're going to see kids in fast cars getting killed with driving their Lambos and shit that they bought with their NIL money. That's what you're going to see. It's going to be some of the most awful shit you've ever seen, and it's coming. It will happen.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely will. There should be a cap. We talked about this before a few months ago. There should be a cap, and that doesn't mean that you can't make as much as you can. There should be a cap per year, and then whenever you leave or declare, that's when you get the rest of your money.
Yeah.
Or the money should be deferred. If you say the way it should be set up is if you earn your degree, you'll get your full package. But if you opt out and go pro, you'll get a percentage.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Guys, this is the 304 podcast here on YouTube and on Facebook. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and a share. Or if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell. That way you know when we go live.
I'm watching on X videos.
A little bit of everything tonight, guys. We're gonna kind of get out of sports a little bit and get into some more pop culture talk. If you have any questions or want us to talk about anything, put it in the comments. We'll talk about anything, almost
anything. All right. So, me and Marcus have something to talk about.
Yep.
All right. Let's see your song and
what
dance.
Is it? What is a song and dance? Song and dance? What are you talking about?
So you boys have been after me to pick a team and stay with a team, and I've been taking my time reading, watching, and I'm glad I finally found a team that fits me, and it'll work. I mean, people are gonna snooze on it. People are gonna say whatever, but is it this one? Any yays or nays?
Penis.
I just don't care anymore.
Nah, not that one. Could it be this one?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
Nope, not that one.
Goddamn, how many hats you got?
Where'd you get that OU hat?
He bought it just so he could throw it.
Good old Rocky Top.
You a fucking Tennessee fan now?
Yes, sir.
Marcus, dude. You haven't talked about this team once.
I know.
Oh, yeah, he has.
No, hold on. Marcus got an NIL deal.
I did.
Well, I mean, you're making your announcement, so, I don't want to sit here in awkward silence.
No, I did my due diligence, and this is me. It fits me. They're close.
Tony.
I knew it. They're close. I can go watch a ball game if I want to. That's just the way it is.
Until you get upset, because every Tennessee fan I know gets upset at the constant state of mediocrity that they have, and you're gonna get tired of it, and then you're gonna go and be a Hokie fan again.
No, I can't do Tech. I mean, I've tried to love them.
Well, what about the Mountaineers?
I always have respect for Mountaineers. They're my home state.
Enough since you own a Pitt hat.
You know how many announcements we've had on this damn Sporgy shows?
Just a few.
Because of Mark's team. Mark, man, look, like this is the 17th announcement you've had, dude. It's Groundhog Day.
Maybe not. Groundhog Day. I like it.
There's probably going to be an 18th announcement.
No, I'm done.
All right, where have I heard this before?
Yeah, I know. But,
Are you just tired of us picking on you, and you're like, all right, I'm going to pick Tennessee?
No, I just decided, hey, that it's time. I mean, I'm tired of jumping. Now I'm gonna lay roots.
Do I dare ask why? Is it because of this $8 million NIL deal?
No, actually, no, it's not. I really like the coach. I like their way their offense, and they're just fun to watch. I enjoy watching them play. I mean, the history, the tradition. I mean, that's what hooked me. And you even gave me a list of all these schools that's in top wins and top traditions. I looked at that list and took it to heart.
But that's based off of previous things. Look, I
It
get
doesn't
it.
matter. It doesn't matter.
Tennessee does have a fun environment. Like it seems like I don't know, Mark. It's a Mark answer.
Nah,
It's fine. It is what it is.
I'm happy you picked someone.
Yeah. Until next time, folks. I knew that one was coming, but no, it just feels right. I mean, because they really they're just fun to watch. I mean, I just enjoy listening to like the different podcasts that they have and do what? What was that? I missed that comment.
We're going to ask where Tennessee's head coach played football.
Oh, he played at Oklahoma. He was the last person to win a national championship for the Sooners in 2000.
Where before Oklahoma?
Where before Oklahoma? Oh shoot.
He doesn't know.
No, I do not know.
He's a JUCO guy.
I was racking my brain. I was like, nah, I don't know.
Well, now that we're past the intermission, guys, let's talk a little. I'm gonna talk a little ghost stories because I'm gonna tag. If I can tag them, I can't tag them, but I think it was Angie Farley Cox and Ginger Wysong Green. I'm not sure how their names are married and people I went to high school with. I posted a picture, and I don't have the picture available. I pulled it for everybody of our old mall. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's like a big brick wall, it's like a big rock wall, and it had like a bridge in the middle of it. Cody, you probably remember that, don't you? No, it would have been gone. But like in the middle of the Mercer Mall was this big old rock wall.
I do remember Mercer Mall.
Well, yeah, it would have been gone because it left in 2000. But I worked there after my senior year. It was 2000. I was getting ready to go to college, 17 years young. And I worked there on night shift, and we polished, waxed the floors, but we also tore out that middle part where the rock walls were. And I put that up to see how many people remembered it, and a lot of people did. And then I made the comment that I'm like, well, the mall's haunted. And I had a couple people ask me about the stories. The stories are a little too hard to tell in typing, so I told them I would put them on the podcast and tag them on them so they would see them. But at nighttime in that mall, it was nothing to hear people walking behind you. You'd be sweeping the floor, and it was nothing to hear like disembodied footsteps just walking right behind you the whole time you were doing it.
Hell no.
You could hear, there was times where I was sweeping one night and heard like this blood curdling scream out of nowhere, just boom, like, and And that one was the night. That was the night I like went and just clocked out and went home because it freaked me out that bad.
That's when
the
you just
cool-
told Tim to shut up, quit screaming.
Yeah, the coolest experience I had there though was every night when we were closing, there was 5 of us, including the security guard. We would start at one end of the mall and walk the whole entire length of the mall and the corridors because people were always trying to stay in the mall overnight. It was this big thing that, you know, every once in a while we'd find somebody hiding and have to run them out. So that night we do our walkthrough, don't find anybody, take out all the trash, sweep all the floors and all that. It was probably 2:00 in the morning. We went down and was standing on the bridge, all 5 of us, looking down towards where Hills used to be. At that time, I think it was still Ames. And now it's Roses, if you know the Merchant Mall. So we're standing, all 5 of us are standing on the bridge, and we see somebody appear out of nowhere in the middle of the mall. Run. They took off running. They appeared, they took off running towards Ames, and then took a left like you're going. There's an exit down there, and they took a left and went down to that exit, and we all 5 of us saw it.
Nope. Mm-mm.
And we were like, okay, somebody's in the mall. You know, we just missed somebody trying to stay in the mall. So we found out to where they couldn't get behind us because the corridors, they were only one-way entries from there. And we found out and kind of sectioned it off. There was nobody there. Doors were locked. There was no broken glass. There was nothing. There was nobody there. And all 5 of us saw it. Just appeared out of nowhere and took off running. That was creepy. It was really creepy. That's the one that I can't explain. You know, the screaming could have been somebody just messing with me or something. But
Right.
all 5 of us saw that, like, and we just looked at each other. We're like, "Did you see that?" Like, it was pretty neat little experience. But yeah, I mean, it was nothing to be mopping or sweeping and hear somebody come walking down the corridor and there's nobody there. I mean, that was normal. To hear somebody walking behind you or beside you while you were sweeping, I mean, that was
Nope.
Tony, it was the exit at the opposite end, like you're going in Roses. You veer off to the left there. It's that exit. It's at the opposite end, not at J.C. Penney, but at where Roses is now. Borka, that was me. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, it was creepy. There was a lot of weird things that happened. I mean, I could talk about other little things, but like those 2 things, the scream was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I just dropped the broom and left.
Yeah, so I'm trying to sift through my Facebook photos, my uploads. Like I told you in the chat, we some friends of mine, about a year or 2 after high school. I just got known my sophomore year at OU. Yeah, so we there's an old the first integrated high school in Oklahoma was Douglas High School, and they had an old Douglas High School building in downtown, which it's kind of near Oklahoma Medical Center, OU Medical, and it's nowhere near Norman. I know it says OU, but it's nowhere near Norman, but it's in Oklahoma City. But it was abandoned, and then we would always just go out there every weekend, go out and just look at everything and just search it all. And they had a huge auditorium, underground pool. It was creepy as shit. One time we went there. We went there throughout during the day. We're on the 2nd floor, and all of a sudden we see about 25 yards from us, we see flashlights or at least lights. And then all of a sudden, there's a camera crew. There was a ghost hunting crew. They told us their channel. We never heard of it, and I could not even repeat it because I have no clue what it was. Like, oh yeah, we're ghost hunters. Yeah, we're on TV. I have no clue what they are ever. So we went back probably like a month later, and we're about. There's only one way in, and the one way in is there's one broken window. You go on through there. I'm sorry, my buddy Cody. You know Caleb Willis.
Yeah, Caleb Willis.
Yeah, Caleb's about to dip his head into the school, into that window, which is part of the basement, and all of a sudden he's pushed back out. And he said, and some guy that pushed him back out said, "Hey, we have this place tonight. Don't worry about it." And then we kind of got freaked out. We're some kids. We're like, "Oh, fuck yeah, let's go." And then it still gets weirder. And then we left, but came back. I know it sounds fake, but there was a goddamn Volkswagen Beetle bug.
It was Dahmer
sitting in the parking lot, and they were all pale as shit. Like the girl I told you about in the group chat. I banged, she's pale, and you could see right through her if you shine a flashlight.
Did you run into some late Manson cultists or something? That sounds like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I think that's called a West Virginia meth
wish.
head.
I wish. Even a whole lot cooler. But hey, it did come out that a girl went missing that night in that neighborhood. But also, we went by there a couple months later, and I video recorded everything, and I'm trying to find a picture or the video of the ghost I found. Caught on camera. I caught it on camera. I didn't hear it or see it while we were recording, like while we were there. But later that night when we watched it, we heard a weird noise. It's like a crackling noise. It was like something like that. I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And then like we paused it at the perfect spot. Clear as day. 2 eyes, nose, mouth, and 1 horn. And I'll find it.
Nope.
I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
Well, I'll tell you, it's what's interesting is of the 5 guys that saw what I saw at the mall that night.
They have good burgers.
Well, one of the guys, the security guard, I think his name was John. I think that was his name. He was a volunteer firefighter, and he would go in with the firefighters and take pictures while they were putting fires out. And he would bring pictures of the craziest shit you ever seen that he would capture on pictures. Like faces in the flames and like some crazy demonic crap. Like it was crazy, some of the stuff that he captured. But that's what he did, is he would go in, take pictures and all that stuff. And he was talking about how like 90% of the fires that he go to, he'd find there would be something. And he'd bring the pictures and show them to him. It was creepy. Marcus is going to have some he's going to rethink Tennessee after tonight.
No, I'm good. No, I'll stay snug as a bug underneath my Tennessee blanket.
No, this guy would have been probably in 2000. He was probably in his 30s then, so I can't remember his name. I only worked with him for like 8 weeks or something, but he was a really cool guy. He was a yeah, crazier than that, dude. But man, it was, paranormal experiences are very interesting when you have them. Every time I've ever been to like Savannah, Georgia, I've always caught videos or pictures or disembodied voices on a freaking recorder. I mean, every single time. It's creepy.
I mean, it's ghost hunting. I think that's what we call it here. So we have Cody's probably heard of it, the Crybaby Bridge and more over by Lake Draper.
Crybaby.
There's the Crybaby Bridge in every town in America.
Speaking of your own little brush of ghosts, I had one when I was a kid. This is a weird story. I've only told this to a handful of people. Might as well just fuck this with the world now, since we're talking ghosts. When I was a kid, Um, it was the strangest thing ever happened to me, and it's still I remember it just as clear as bell. I think I was between 5 and 7 at the time. I had fallen asleep
So
on the
sick.
couch. Yeah, I was falling asleep on the couch. It was my when I lived in Bluefield, West Virginia. I was, still a kid. Mom and dad was fast asleep in the bed, and I was laying there on the couch. I'd fallen asleep, and I'd woke up. Something woke me up, and lo and behold, before our living room was leaded into the kitchen, and in the kitchen there was this demonic ghost looking thing. It was like all on fire, and it was sitting there doing this to me the entire time. And I don't know what the hell it was. I tried screaming, I couldn't scream. My dog was beside me, he was frozen, and I couldn't do anything. So when people say they have ghost experience and don't like ghosts, yeah, I'm one of those fuckers.
I mean, ghosts are cool.
That's creepy. Well, it's creepy when you're a kid. I mean,
Yeah.
Because I grew up. I had night terrors and stuff when I was really young. So, and part of that's you wake up and you're still hallucinating, from it.
Mhm.
So I saw all kinds of crazy shit when I was a kid. I mean, I remember.
You ever have lucid dreams? Lucid dreams?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, when I had the H1N1, that last pandemic we had, the birds, the swine flu, they gave you Tamiflu as a part of the treatment for that. I don't know if you boys remember that or not. I ended up getting it. I almost died from it. I thought I was going to die from it. They gave me Tamiflu, and I was seeing pink elephants and purple peacocks, and I was having full-blown conversations with these damn things. And Tara almost recorded me, but I fell back to sleep. And I kept on telling her I had to get to the monkey in the wall because the monkey needed help. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I actually have lucid dreams all the time. Some of them are. Go ahead.
I hate waking up and getting hot. Like anytime you do get scared, especially in your sleep, you wake up and I feel like I lose 12 pounds in sweat just because it feels so hot when I wake up. Does that happen with y'all too? If you ever wake up from a nightmare, you just feel like you're in a pool of sweat essentially, but you're really not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're hot as crap. Yeah.
It hasn't happened to me. Never in my life.
You're lucky.
It hasn't happened to me, but I've had lucid dreams. My last lucid dream that I remember was about 4 years ago. Yeah, 2018. Yeah, 2018. I remember ditching work. Actually, so back then I was in the corporate world, and I had to be at work. I was in outside sales. I had to be at work in the office from 8 to 9 a.m. Central Time, and then we could go out in the field and go out and meet customers. So I'm 8 to 9 a.m. So at 9:30, I'm already back in my apartment, going back to sleep. And I remember waking up and I see spiders and tarantulas all over my ceiling. And I immediately get up and run out into the hallway of my apartment complex. And I'm in my boxers. And then I finally actually wake up. But my body still moved. I'm like, holy shit, that's actually what a lucid dream is. That was actually real. It wasn't real, but it felt very, very real. That's my only experience of lucid dreaming.
The one, and I'll talk a little bit about this, this kind of people that are listening, don't feel sorry for me or anything, because this is just the nature of things. But the last really lucid dream that I had was that my mom was still alive, and it was literally when I woke up, my brain hadn't processed that she'd been dead for 5 years. In that little bit of time, it was she was still alive. It was very and I have lucid dreams all the time. But that one was the only one I've ever had where my brain actually hadn't processed that. I woke up and my brain, the processing in my brain was completely different than than when I went to bed. Like it was very strange. Have any of y'all ever had sleep paralysis before? Yes, sir, I have.
Yep.
Funny
Ooh, actually,
story
hold on.
about. Go ahead.
Sorry, I think I might be getting lucid dreaming mixed up with sleep paralysis. What's the difference? Sorry, I don't know, to be honest.
A lucid dream is something that feels like it's absolutely real, like where your brain has a
A
trouble
wet
process.
dream.
And
I haven't
a
had one
lucid
yet. Damn it.
sleep paralysis is where you wake up and you can't move, like you are frozen.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, got
Like
it.
what I had when I was a kid.
Well, I'll tell you a good one is the only time I've had sleep paralysis once. I don't know if I would necessarily call it sleep paralysis because I went to a frat party.
It's just whenever you and Marcus hang out.
Hey, you drink something there, that'll do it.
No. This was back when I went to Concord. Me and Lance Crotty. God, I hope Lance hears this because he'll remember. We went to a frat party and we'd been smoking a lot of weed then. And there was this guy in the frat that had come
Weed.
and had brought some weed, and it was laced with PCP, and he didn't tell anybody. And we smoked it with him. And the next morning, I woke up and I'm just like frozen in the bed. My mom wakes me up and she's like, "Are you all right?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Can you bring me the phone?" And she brings me the phone. And I call Lance. I'm like, "Dude, are you all right?" And he's like, "I can't move."
It's always a Lance too. It's always
Yeah,
a
it was like embalming fluid was basically what was in this weed. It was laced with embalming fluid, and he didn't tell anybody. And we woke up and I was froze. Like I was completely froze.
There is
Couldn't move.
there is nothing worse than being too high. Like knowing you're like, what, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you end up smoke. I don't know that I've smoked the wrong shit, but there's been like a time or two where I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? Like, I had that happen like 2 weeks ago. My buddy, he was like, "Oh yeah, do this gummy," and I don't really do edibles or anything, and I was like, I don't know. And then like he was like, "Dude, just do it." So I like, it's the fattest fucking gummy I've ever seen. It was like the size of a golf ball, and I was like, "Dude, you eat this all at once?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just keep chewing." I was like, "I feel like a rabbit chewing on like a carrot or something." I'm like, "It won't like stop." And I told him, I was like, "Dude, I want to go home." I was like, I don't want to hang out right now. I was like, I just want to go sleep. I was like, I can't do this.
I don't even remember that night after we'd smoked, walking to the car. Like I was hallucinating then. Like I was seeing clowns and shit. I remember it. It was the
You
frat
see
house.
Pennywise and John Wayne Gacy in the background.
Do
It
they
was,
still do the haunted house at Lashmeet up in that old ass, like, was it a
Park.
hospital or what?
No, amusement park. Yeah.
No, there was one in Lashmeet. Tony, if he's watching, he'll know what I'm talking about. It was a God, because they used to do it when I was in middle school. You had to pay, and it was like the famous one. I do remember the park one, but I could have sworn there was like an old building or something that, like, I don't know if it was an old school or what, but there's a creepy ass building that they used to do haunted houses in. And it was right by, it was literally I'm pretty sure within like walking distance of my house. Because I don't remember Lashmeet too well, but if I remember right, like everything is pretty much like like it's all on the street, right? The old elementary, yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's a Dollar General now.
It's funny, man. Dollar Generals are like how they describe dwarfs in Lord of the Rings. They just pop up out of the ground. They just multiply and just.
It's a
Bear
Dollar
Land one day, Dollar General the next.
There's a Dollar General multiverse out there.
But yeah, man, like I don't know, like stuff like that's interesting. Like, yeah, I'll never forget that because I didn't smoke weed after that for like ever, like
I understand.
for like 10, 15 years, like a long time because it was the worst experience of my life.
Well, that everybody that smoked in high school, especially, like you got to have that one experience. You know, you got to have that one that like makes you almost be like, I don't ever want to do this again, or does.
They tore it down, and within the summer, it became the Dollar General. So that's what I'm saying, man. They just
Is
spring it out
is
the ground.
Tony, is L&M the market or whatever? Is that still there? Dude, I need to go visit West Virginia. I want to do it in the next year or two.
I think the building's there, but the store's gone. If I'm not, I could be wrong.
Is the M&M market still down in Oakville?
I don't know about that. Who the hell goes to Oakville?
I used to date a chick that lived in Oakville.
What was his name?
Funny.
His name was Tennessee Williams.
That's right.
His name was Tennessee. Tennessee. Hey, Mark, make that your name. Tennis, capital E.
Tennessee.
I might just do that. You never know.
You gonna start listening to Morgan Wallen more? Start listening.
I've already I like the Morgan Wallen.
He says
right.
L&M building is still there, but the store is no longer operational.
I would really like to go to Lash Meet again and like see what it is now compared, because it couldn't be any worse.
It's exactly what you remember.
Really? It hasn't
Yeah, no
changed?
changing.
Damn.
Well, Cody, are you excited for WrestleMania?
Yeah. I think it'll be fun. I will honestly say that I'm not ready to be sitting for like 6+ hours each day. That's gonna fucking suck. But yeah, I think I'm still debating. I'm probably gonna buy the Winged Eagle belt. I'll have Tony. The pizza place left. Damn, are you talking about Fox's? Fox's Pizza Den? Tony, me and Sam have been, and you guys can. Well, I know you don't watch wrestling really, Parrish, but Mark, me and Sam have been trying to decide
I've
what I
watched Ready
should
to
do.
Rumble.
Ready to Rumble?
Yeah, close enough.
I'm thinking about getting the. That's exactly it. Well, see, I moved away from Lash Meat in 2010, so I haven't been. Everybody in my family's gone back to West Virginia except for me since the last 12 years. But yeah, I'm excited for Mania. I start next Thursday. I drive up to Dallas, and then that Thursday night is when I meet Stone Cold and get to drink with him. Sam, I think I'm going to skip Taker's autograph just because of it being $250+ because it says plus tax. So I was like, oh, 250 isn't enough.
For an autograph,
he ain't gonna pay your taxes.
I think I'm gonna do the Winged Eagle belt and have both Austin and Sean sign it.
that'd be awesome.
I think that's cool. Yeah, for sure.
So I got Thursday, I meet Austin. Friday, I got SmackDown in the Hall of Fame. Saturday, I know Morgan and I are going to go to the OU Texas baseball game at the new Rangers Stadium. We're going to go to that because everything's all within walking distance. And so, except for the convention, I'm going to meet up with Franchise. Me and him are going to finally meet and probably go to Access. Access is like the big fan convention where you can see like Taker's graveyard of like it has like all the opponents, and like I think they have like a display of like attire that different wrestlers have worn at WrestleMania and stuff. So I'm pretty excited. As each day goes by, I get a little more excited. I wish that there were some matches that I was more excited about. Sorry for talking to you. I haven't really talked at all tonight, so I
You're good.
I would. So I've heard different things. I've heard Stone Cold's supposed to close the show, which for me makes sense because I don't give a shit what you have going on after I see Stone Cold whoop someone's ass. I'm gonna be like, all right, I'm out. But they were saying they were gonna have Owens and Austin close instead of Ronda and Charlotte, which I agree with because like
yeah, absolutely.
I'm fucking tired of that match, dude. Like.
When was it? Was it the other day when Kevin Owens came out as Stone Cold?
Yeah.
That was this
dude, I saw that. I was dying. Like, I heard that glass shatter, and everybody in the audience was getting so excited. And then here he came all dressed up like Stone Cold. I was dying, dude. It was so
What?
funny.
That was a good. I told Morgan while I was in the car, I was like, these idiots, they hear the glass shatter and they think it's Austin.
Now, the rumor is that there's this fight with him and Owens is going to set up an actual match at night 2.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think we're definitely getting more than just a physical interview where he stuns him and then that's that and he does a beer bash. They've been talking about Owens in particular has been talking about Austin's like his shape and like his knees and all kinds of stuff. So they're like really hammering it home that Austin doesn't have it in him anymore. So I feel like I don't know, like it's really weird if you guys I know Sam enjoys like full circle moments and stuff, so I think you'll like this. It's crazy to think that my first WrestleMania that my family ordered was 19, which was 2003. And that was Austin's last match. I didn't know that as a kid watching then. You know, like then he just said he couldn't wrestle, and I was upset as a kid. But now, my first Mania in person is sounding like it's Austin's final hoorah, like at all, period. Like he might show up and do like interviews and stuff, but it sounds like he's not stunning anybody really anymore. He's saying one last ass whooping.
So my biggest thing would be with WWE right now is this whole thing with Cody Rhodes. I mean, is he just going to show up at WrestleMania? I mean,
I think so. That's a big deal though, because he's the first one to jump from AEW over to WWE.
Yeah.
So if I had to bet, I would say next week Seth's probably going to try to like interfere with the Roman and Brock match. I'd be like, put me in it and like or something, you know. But I think from what I've read, they want Cody's first return not to be on Raw. They want it to be in the big 80,000 plus crowd at SmackDown. But it's a decent card, man. I'm excited. Johnny Knoxville's wrestling in a no holds barred match.
That's gonna be pretty sweet.
So I think we might get to see the Jackass guys.
He was.
Yeah, Tony. Yeah, he was.
Yep.
I still love watching. What was his name? Kick Steve-O's ass.
Umaga.
Oh my god, dude! That is like if you haven't seen that and you want to watch something really funny.
Well, Umaga, they really pissed him off.
Well, they did because I mean Steve-O was laughing, and you can tell the minute Umaga got pissed because those little playful elbows turned into full-fledged UFC hammer elbows. And Steve-O just can't quit laughing because, I mean, he's a goofy ass. That's what he does.
Right.
And, oh, my God, it's the funniest shit. Eventually, Steve-O he figured it out. He's like, I got to quit laughing and quit grinning. And, like, it took everything he had in him to quit because, I mean, he's just a laugh through the pain kind of guy. And he just got destroyed. I mean, he got destroyed. It was so funny, dude. I love
that's
that.
That's why I think the idea of Johnny Knoxville being in a no holds bars match, like I think that's funny because you're gonna see some shit you don't really see too much because he's notorious for stunts, you know. So like,
I'll tell you though, he's so that's the thing about Johnny though is he, you know, I think he's pretty much said that he's not going to do any more Jackass movies because he can't take any more headshots. He don't have it in him to take any more headshots. So I wouldn't expect too much out of a match because, I mean, all it takes is for him to land wrong, and he's legitimately screwed.
He's working with Sami Zayn. I'm not a big Sami guy. I think he's kind of annoying.
His character's annoying, but he seems like
I don't mind this. I don't care about his character. I think he himself is an annoying person. For lack of better terms, for political differences, he talks a little too much for my liking, and so I'm not too big on him. But he's a really safe worker, so I think him and Johnny are gonna. Because Johnny did good in the Rumble. I mean, everybody was like just beating up on him and stuff. So, I think watching this will be my first time seeing Brock Lesnar actually wrestle in person, so that'll be cool. It'll be like a car crash, I feel like.
Oh, they're going to beat the hell out of each other.
I think it'll be a good time. Morgan's holding out hope that The Rock shows up. I don't think he will, but
The
I
Rock.
I don't see any reason why he would.
Well, they said that he's going to confront Roman and set up their feud for next year's WrestleMania.
because next year's WrestleMania is in LA.
Yeah, and supposedly Roman's supposed to go over and beat Brock and then be the unified champion.
I mean, it makes sense because The Rock has to like do a year and a half ahead of booking, you know. So like, I feel like maybe him showing up, he could do what he did with Cena, which is just show up and the next night at Raw or at Mania be like, next year we're wrestling at Mania, me, you, and then you can have Rock cut promos here and there and stuff like that. But he's way busier now.
Yeah,
it feels like. You know,
I'm
excited.
They should have a movie match like John Cena and The Rock. Like Rock comes out like dressed up like the Tooth Fairy and
Cena as Peacemaker.
Yes, that'd be epic.
You could do Black. I think we might see Black Adam versus. They're both pretty delusional, man.
Oh God, but Vince is in better shape.
Vince, I would take Vince. I think Biden would see ping pong and be like, "Are we playing pool?"
Mm-hmm. He'll ask if it's like at the pool.
Did y'all see? I know we don't talk politics, but did y'all see the video of Joe Biden eating the pizza with jalapenos on it?
No, I've been looking to find it.
Oh, dude, they set him on fire, man. Like he was chugging water for like 2 hours.
Is it worse than his ice cream video or whatever?
It was pretty good. It was funny because he was sitting with some military guys when he was eating it, and you could tell the minute that heat hit him, it was pretty good.
That's funny.
Let's see, what's Tony?
Troops are pretty bad.
Do you think Pat McAfee will have his fight against Austin Theory?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's
That's already set. I'm pretty excited for that. I think Pat's a good wrestler. Pat's
a great worker.
Pat's a natural. I hope we see AJ Hawk.
Oh, that'd be sweet. Has Pat McAfee, is he doing any autograph signing there too, or?
He hasn't announced what I personally want, and I don't think it'll happen, but it could. I'll call in and tell him to do it if I have to. I want him to do a live show like he did for the Super Bowl where he was in LA. I would 100%. Morgan and I both would go to a Pat McAfee live event. You know, like I would have a blast, and I could see him doing it. You know, I think he should.
Oh, that'd be pretty sweet.
He's so in demand. Like I'd say he would have a hard time doing all the things people ask him to do. Man, he needs to clone himself.
Well, I mean, he's very good about covering stuff depending on where he's at, you know. So like, he's gonna have to be at the latest. He's gonna have to be in Dallas by Friday because of SmackDown. What are you making that face for?
Who?
All of y'all.
Oh no, I just had to yawn and my allergies are kicking my butt.
No, I think he could do Pat McAfee live at Dallas. I don't know where. I don't know if he could do it in Jerry World or what, but I'm excited. I think that match will be a lot of fun. All the high flying that McAfee can do. He cut a killer promo on SmackDown last week.
Yeah, he did.
Could you imagine? Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Nah, he was just, and they put on a good program so far.
I'll tell you what would have been cool was Pat McAfee and Shane O'Mac.
Oh, that would have been pretty cool.
I wanted that. That's what I think made the most sense.
Because they're both they both kind of present themselves the exact same way. Like that would have been, they could have had an epic rivalry there. Is McFly having problems? I think he is.
Yeah, I think he said something about his ear, so I think he's coming back in. But no, I'm excited. I'm debating on whether I want to do like a vlog or something, and like.
Oh yeah, do it.
I'm sorry. Brandon Davis sent me a meme. Joe Biden and the pizza.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out if I want to do like a vlog. I've never made anything like that, so I wouldn't really know what to do. The thing that I'm worried about, and people don't understand, you guys would agree, right? Like, does it ever feel like the pictures you get at an event never do it justice? It always looks like you're way further than what you actually are.
Yeah.
Because that's my fear is I have better seats at Mania this year than I've had at any of the Big 12 championship games. And I had lower end zone at one point at the Big 12 Baylor game. But yeah, like I'm excited with it being in Jerry World. I love Jerry World. I think Jerry World is one of the nicest stadiums. McFly, have you gone to Jerry World?
Yeah, I went there for the Cowboys, I think Giants game. The opener for 2008, no, 19, I think. Yeah, went there for the Cowboys opener. It's awesome.
That's right.
But,
yeah, that's right.
I like outside games. I love outside games.
Yeah, but I mean, with an event like WrestleMania where you're sitting down for 7 hours.
Oh yeah, then yeah. Okay, honestly, can WrestleMania fill the Dallas Cowboy Arena?
Yeah.
They do it all the time. I don't know if this year. I think this year, I'm expecting probably around 70,000 people.
Yeah.
In it. They do it in 2 nights, so that's the only thing is like I don't know if they're going to combine the attendance of both nights or what. But yeah, they started doing it as a 2-day a night thing. They started doing that in the pandemic.
Yeah, because they did.
Damn, Sam, that was hot. Do that again.
Well, then also too, I think they took a page out of New Japan because New Japan, when they do their Tokyo Dome show, Wrestle Kingdom, it's always a 2-night affair.
Japs are cool.
Japs are cool. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, I watched Pearl Harbor 2 nights ago. Yeah, Japs are cool. No.
Well, that's the thing about like going to like live events and stuff. Like these stadiums and stuff, the way they're built now, there really are no bad seats, and like it doesn't really matter where you're at. You always have a good view of everything.
And if you don't, there's a big fucking Tron.
And like you said, it don't matter where you are. Like if you take pictures, the pictures never do it justice. Never.
See, that's what sucks is like I want to record Austin coming out so like everybody can see how. I think that's going to be the loudest thing I ever experience. Honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you're in a closed dome. You're in Austin's home. People go bonkers when they hear that glass shatter, and I think it'll be a good time. Yeah, I do really see. Brandon, I used to hate Nakamura, but I went to SmackDown when I had those floor seats for John Cena, and they did. Pat McAfee got up on the fucking stage, so Pat loved Sam. You need to. I'll send you a video.
I saw it.
Of him jumping up on the commentator table and dancing and shit. Yeah, so he did. Oh yeah, I sent it to you. I think.
Yeah.
He does that all the time, and so I used to hate Nakamura, but with that guitar, like Brandon said, dude, that entrance kicks ass. It's a cool song, and Pat jumping up and down. I was like, man, maybe I should stop hating this guy. So I became a fan just because of his entrance.
Hey guys, sorry, I got to sign off. Carter, my son, he's sick. He's coughing up a storm. I got to sign off, guys. Sorry about that.
All right, no problem, man. Have a good night.
I love y'all.
Love you.
Love you.
Don't get in your DeLorean and fly back in time and do dirty things with your mother.
Hold on, Cody. Cody didn't say it back. Hold on, Cody didn't say it back.
You got it. I don't fuck on the first day, but
look at that necklace. He ain't got to say shit.
Don't worry. I know how much
I
you
don't
love
put out
me.
on the. I don't put out on the first date, buddy. I guess this would be
I'll
our
get
fourth
you to.
date.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all have a good night,
Morgan-
guys.
See ya.
No, probably not. I think it would be fun to take it on the road. Let's see. I'm in Princeton. Mark's in Salem, Roanoke. Cody's in Oklahoma, and is McFly in Oklahoma too? Is he near Norman?
Yeah. No, he lives in. I think he lives in Tuttle, so like 35 minutes or so away from me. I live in Moore. I'm probably moving back to Norman now, though. So probably in the next year, maybe even less. I think Morgan and I, with her getting a job at OU, I think we're going to go move back to Norman.
And then, of course, Tim is in Princeton. And then our buddy Big Puck, what happened to Big Puck tonight? I thought he'd be on here.
I don't know. He said he needed to go live, and that he was the one that was saying I need to do a Sporgy with everybody.
Yeah, I was waiting on him because that's what kind of my plan. But Big Puck's in what, South Dakota or North Dakota? Okay,
so
we've got guys kind of
wherever.
out.
I think he's stationed at Minot.
We want Brandon Davis to come on here with us, but he's fucking
Come on,
camera
B.
shy.
So is that Dale? Is that what that says?
Yeah.
So Dale, we are trying within the next before OU leaves the Big 12. We're trying for all of us to meet up for OU WVU. It really all depends on timing. I know Sam has mentioned possibly wanting to do it. My theory, I always tell everybody, if you're coming, because you would not be going strictly for WVU, you'd also be going to hang out with me, obviously. So like I always tell people, if you're coming here to go to an OU game with me, I always have an extra room, So that's just my rule of thumb. There's no sense in people that I'm friends with paying for a hotel if I have an extra room.
Yeah, I'll sleep in the middle.
Are you sleep in my bed?
Yeah, you
That's
on
why I
one
got the
side,
queen.
Morgan on the other. And
You
then
look at Big Puck.
we'll let Mark, Tim, and Lucas sleep in the other bed.
Oh, God.
And then Lucas, he lives in Ohio, right?
WVU versus VT.
I'll tell you, I really wanted to go to that game this year. I thought we had a Virginia Tech fan on here, but apparently we don't. So
No, it would have been fun to make content with the WVU fan and a VT fan, but someone decided to join a bottom tier SEC team.
That's okay. We're on the
I think the game we're going to try to go to, I know me and Mark and Tim have talked about it, Virginia Tech, Miami, just because that's going to be one of the better games in the ACC all year, I think. Plus to see Miami's on the rise, whether you want to agree with it or not, they are. And I'd like to catch them on the trajectory they're on because they're going to be good. Now, a big part of what we're doing, as you see, the 304 podcast, if you haven't tuned in before, the logo's changed a little bit now. This is our new podcast logo, but we're also going to have a page called 304 Athletics to go along with everything. And what we're doing there is we bring on guys who are past, present, future athletes that have either played college ball, getting ready to play college ball, or whatever, and are interviewing them. We've got coaches that are coming on and things like that. Tim's working on some really good names. We've, some of the local colleges want to come on the podcast and talk about what's going on. So those are things that we're pursuing. Kind of what we're doing with that is getting some of the local kids some attention, because there's a lot of local talent down here that just completely gets overlooked. And if you bounce back to this past Thursday, we had a kid on from Mountain View that I feel like could have benefited if we could have been doing this a little sooner. He's going to Alderson Broadus, but I feel like, that's kind of I think his talent's a little better than that level of ball. So I think he'll go to AB, and with the portals the way they are, he may go somewhere bigger or something. But he has dreams of playing pro ball, and he definitely has the acumen for it. So that's kind of what we're doing there. What we do here is just kind of goof off with our Sporgy, just goof off and talk about whatever.
Sam, let's talk a little Ninja Turtles, man. You gave me blue balls the other night saying that we were going to talk. He goes, yeah, man. We can do it another time where it's just you and I.
No.
But I was very excited to talk Turtles, man. And Marcus, I don't want it. There's like three. I'm in the middle of knowledge. Sam is like the Roko Saki of Ninja Turtles, and I don't know where you fall. Like, do you casually watch TMNT, or are you like, do you know all the characters?
He's the Bebop. He's the Bebop.
Bebop and Rocksteady days.
Toidle.
Toidle soup.
Well, basically, what kind of happened was, I had a really busy week at work, and some things happened with. I'm not going to go into it, but me and Cody were going to do a special Turtle Talk because it was National Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Day. And we were going to do a podcast just talk about Ninja Turtles and basically who's your favorite turtle, who's your favorite bad guy, what period of the show do you like, things like that. So I'll kind of start. My favorite Ninja Turtle good guy, Leonardo, he's my favorite.
What did Tony say? God tier?
Wait a second.
Well, my phone's about to die, folks, so I will see y'all on the flip side.
All right. It's nice talking with you. Glad you picked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
We were getting some messages from somebody that has a really inappropriate name. I think it was on Facebook. I had to block them.
Damn, really?
Yeah. I won't even repeat what the name was.
Jesus.
Good Lord.
We're talking turtles and they're talking Phil. We're talking Foot and they're talking Phil.
I'll tell you guys what it was. Hold on. I've got to report. I have to report all of these.
There's multiple? What the hell?
Yeah, he was. This is why you have to have a moderator.
Was he spamming racist stuff?
Worse.
Yeah,
hold on a minute. Let me. I'm almost done. Look in GGTV chat real quick.
Let's see what this asshole said.
The screen name was react to this live, guys. Don't say it.
Yeah,
I don't even want to put it in the chat. It's that bad.
You can put asterisks by it, like in the certain places and stuff, so that way you're not actually typing whatever the hell they said. I feel bad for my curiosity.
Yeah.
But I don't know what they said.
Right. The username was
everybody watching. Jesus Christ.
And it was the picture was Dale saw it because he just responded.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why you have to have a moderator.
There's no place for that.
And then the picture was a clown. It's in the GGTV chat.
Okay.
Yeah, you pull that up and Dale saw it. Yeah, that's bad, dude. Like, where do these
How do you even
creepos
joke
come
like
from,
that?
man? I don't know, but I blocked all the comments and then reported all the comments. So whoever that idiot is will get found out and booted.
Talk about a room for that, man.
No, that's not even.
That's not even joking territory.
No, not at all. But that's why you have to have a moderator, because if that
They were
kind of
talking
stuff
about little boys.
and girls, yeah, if you let that stuff go, you can get booted, like kicked off YouTube and stuff. So yeah, that's
Anyways,
why you have
no more time.
kind of have to have a
No more
moderator.
negativity. No more negativity. It's turtle time. Mark, you hopping off?
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
I know
You too,
Brandon
Marcus.
Davis. I know Brandon Davis is probably curious. I'm going to send Brandon Davis that too, just so he knows, because me and Brandon talk all the time.
I guess it's you and me. We can just talk about turtles now
Yeah.
for a little bit.
God, that pisses me off.
That's a foul comment, man. I was expecting something bad, but like, I mean, that's just, I don't get why people would comment something like that. Speaking of clowns, man, do you remember, like, was it 3 years ago, or maybe it was like late 2018, 2019, where they had people dressing up like clowns that were like in the woods trying to actually kill people, and like they would like
Yeah.
run up to them? I didn't want to fucking go outside, man. That shit it was bad here.
Yeah.
I've been reading the IDW Turtles.
Those are good. No, Ninja Turtle wise,
I
my favorite Ninja Turtle, of course, is Leonardo, because he's the best. Yeah, those are awesome. I've always been a Leonardo fan myself. As far as the Turtles, now if you get into like the rest of the good guys and all of those that came out of the original, God, that's like picking your kids, man. But my favorite was Mondo Gecko is pretty badass. I always liked the action figure. I always liked the way he was. Who's your favorite turtle?
Mine's Mikey. I think everybody picks, like, I'm a firm believer that who someone's favorite Ninja Turtle is says a lot about them. And they're all positive things. I don't think that, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like a personality thing. You can tell a lot by someone. Like you like Leonardo, and I've talked to you about it because you like that he always does the right thing even when it's hard, and he's just a noble leader. I like Michelangelo because he gets through being nervous by joking and like always trying to make everybody else laugh and stuff, and that's relatable for me. You know, like I'll do anything to make someone laugh.
What about your favorite bad guy? Pick your favorite, like your favorite staple and your favorite reoccurring.
Well, let's throw out all the cliche, Shredder, Bebop, Rocksteady, you know, like all those, because those are all they're classics for a reason. I'll tell you what, not necessarily a villain, but like I love the depth that the 2012 show added to Metalhead. I was absolutely in love with how they made him a hero. That episode where he like actually dies, you know, saving the turtles, really hurt, man. Like I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, but I don't know, dude. I like Metalhead. All versions of Metalhead are cool to me. I grew to like Rat King a little bit more. You know who's underrated? Was it the Hun, the big blonde dude Hun in 2003 show?
Yeah, he was a good character. He's like the Brock Lesnar of Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles.
exactly. That's a great way. I would say my favorite villain is probably the problem. Wouldn't you agree? The problem with Turtles is too many of them are like kind of in betweeners. The villains,
Right.
you know, like you got, because like Mondo Gecko was considered a villain technically, but you know, like then in the next show, I'll get back to you on that. While we're discussing Turtles, let's debate or just discuss the shows, because each show is great. Even Rise has some. I like the animation in Rise. It's grown on me. Because like I feel like, to me, and I'm sure you'll agree, I think the 2012 show is probably the best because it takes the edginess of the '03 show, and it takes the humor of the 90s or the 80s cartoon and mixes it very well, because I like the 2003 show, but as someone that's been rewatching it on Paramount and stuff, just the excessive use of shell for the word hell gets kind of old. Like, it's too. What do you think?
You're talking about the Nickelodeon one, right?
Yeah.
The Nickelodeon, like if you haven't watched the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, then you really haven't watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like, because the Nickelodeon incarnation of the cartoon is 100,000 times better than anything else that's ever been done. Now, they left out some bad guys that I wish they would have brought in, but they added some bad guys that really added some really good bad guys. Neutralizer was killer.
That's who I was. Not to interrupt you. That's what I was going to say. Is I feel like that's the name that just popped into my head. Is Neutralizer probably my favorite villain in recent years.
I think if they would have mixed some of the old and new, like I didn't like the new incarnation of the Krang. The way they looked, but
the robots looked cool. The robots looked cool, but the Krang himself didn't.
And what was the tiger's name? You remember? I can't remember.
No, you got Karai. You had Fish Face, Karai.
Fish Face was pretty creative too.
I do like Fish Face,
but like, because I collected all those action figures, I've got all of those too. I loved the show. I thought it was great. Tiger King, there you go. I didn't want. I thought it was Tiger King, but I didn't want to say that.
Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic is a Ninja Turtle. That'd be kind of funny. But like, I liked how the show followed a storyline all the way through. Like, even the different incarnations of the different turtles, they always, like you have like your base turtles and your storage shell turtles and like your this and that. Like,
yeah.
I mean, like the coolest turtles from that set were like the D&D turtles that they had that did a show where they were playing D&D and they were all dressed up, and like those action figures were killer. Like it was just so well done. Like I didn't think I would like it because like I'm old school turtle guy, but man, it was so good. It was just so good, top to bottom. I wish they had kept it going, to be honest with you.
I do too. I feel like the last season they like got as weird as they could, because they did like the Van Helsing storyline almost, where they were like vampire hunters. I'm very jealous, but I'm not jealous of you because I know you're going to end up giving it to me eventually. I like the WWE set for obvious reasons. They had 2 sets, right?
Yeah, they had
maybe even 3.
I think it was just 2.
They did Roddy Piper.
Roddy Piper
was he Raph?
I think
Raph
so.
was Sting. Raph was Sting. Cena was Leo. I don't know what they're releasing, but I do know all of them. They did
Undertaker,
Macho Man. Mikey was Donatello was Undertaker. Mikey was Mikey was Macho Man. Was Raph Ultimate Warrior in one of them?
I think he was Finn Balor in one of them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Demon. God, dude, Turtles is one of those things. Like, have you read a lot? You've read a lot of the comics, right?
Yeah, it's been a while, so I'm not as brushed up on them. That kind of stuff. Let's see. Leonardo was Finn. Donatello was Ultimate Warrior. Raphael was The Rock, and Michelangelo was Roddy Piper. And one set. Wave 2, Leonardo was Cena. Raph was Sting. Mikey was Macho Man, and Donatello was The Undertaker.
That's a 4-for-4 set right there.
I don't know. I don't know if I've got all 8 of them. I know I have at least 4 of them. at least
That
one set
set,
of them.
man. Getting Mikey as Macho Man, Donnie as Taker, Raph as Sting, and then he said it was Leo as Cena.
Yeah.
Damn, dude, what a. Are there any what are some of the villains you think that they should have? Are there any villains that you felt like the 2012 show did better, or are there some that you think they did way worse?
Slash was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Leatherhead was phenomenal. Like, because they were kind of like your anti-heroes too. They weren't really bad or good. Like, and that's what I liked about the 2012 show was, what was the other comic book that they kind of splashed in? What's the old comic books where they combined all the animal groups? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, the Mutagen Wars.
No, it's the it'll come to me in a minute, but like Ray Fillet and like all of those guys were.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I can't remember what they're called, but they kind of did that to where they weren't necessarily bad or good. They were kind of like in between, and I really thought that was cool because like it's hard to like Slash when he's a bad guy, but when he's kind of in between and he's just a big brute, like I loved how they did Slash. You had some hokey ones. They had like, what was it, the spider one? Like that one was hokey, and the Ivy dude, like he was hokey, and I mean I have all the action figures, but you buy them, if you collect them, you buy them.
Yeah, absolutely. I liked the episode that was like it had Robert Englund in it, and it was the creepy guy that like people they were like, don't fall asleep around him, and it was obviously a Freddy homage. That's what I think part of the reason that you and I probably enjoy the 2012 run is because it is very pop culture oriented. There's an episode for everyone, so like anybody that's still watching right now, if you want to pick a turtle show to start out with, 2012 is probably your best bet. Because even with the 80s, like I'm a big 80s Transformers guy, but even some of those episodes have aged pretty bad. Like the good old Muslim town Carbomia.
Yeah.
The stuff that they did in the 80s and 90s is just
like the old Turtle show, like it still holds up to a degree. The first couple of seasons do. Once you get past that, like you start seeing how sloppy it didn't follow anything. It was just individual episodes that introduced new toys. That's all it was.
Yeah. Because Mondo Gecko gets introduced in season 5.
Mm-hmm.
What is the episode? Michelangelo meets Mondo Gecko or something like that.
I think that's what it's called. And the 2012, like I like shows that follow something, and like it followed. Like you had what was the name of the gang that they fought on there all the time? That was something that reached back into the original comic books.
You talking about the Purple Dragons?
The Purple Dragons, yeah. That stretches back into the old comic book. So they found a cool way to like really marry it very, very well. But I mean, that's the thing. The Turtles were so popular back in the 80s. The show was just there to create new characters and to sell toys. And, when you really start looking at some of the toys that came out, like some of the later toys were really badass. And like, unless you're a diehard turtle head, you probably don't even know who guys like Hothead are, or guys like that. You just don't even know. Like, and like Hothead's such an awesome toy. It's a big dragon looking thing. Like the toys were awesome. But the show, like 2012, I think was the pinnacle for the Turtles. I don't think it'll ever be that good again.
Do you have any standout, like, obviously with the Turtles, a lot of the toys were pretty obscure, but do you have any, like, standout? Like, I remember, and I promise you I'm going to find it, and when I do, I'm going to put it in the group chat. I had a 2003 Raphael that he was like a skateboard or a rollerblader. So he had a helmet on, khaki shorts and like a big bright red t-shirt, and he had wheels, and you would just push him, and he would roll and stuff. But like, do you know why the 2003 toys are the most expensive to collect?
Because nobody collected them. I mean, that essentially is why. Because like a lot of guys like me, that was when I was in my early 20s. Like, completely overlooked the rebirth of the Ninja Turtles at that point.
So why is it? Do you think it's just the different times in you and I's lives where, because I'm early 20s or mid 20s now, late 20s I guess now, unfortunately, but I still collect turtles. Like if I saw the Rise, I would collect the Rise sets if they had all of them and stuff. So you just think it was you were in college at that time and you just had more shit going on?
Well, I think it's buying power. I think when you're in your 30s, a lot of times, mid 20s up to late 20s, early 30s, you have a lot more buying power than you do when you're, 21, 22. So getting back into the vintage stuff, the retro stuff, the nostalgic stuff is a little easier. And I think that if they had rebirthed that 4 years later,
in like 2007 with the movie,
yeah, it would have hit on a whole different level. I think they rebirthed it too soon.
Which is odd because 2003 is like what, a good 7 or 8 year gap between the last movie, right?
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you, like, there was always incarnations of the Ninja Turtles around. You just had to know where they were. Like they had that terrible show where they were in the suits and shit. Like it was just terrible. And then there was Jim Lee. Jim Lee was going to rebirth the Ninja Turtles with Savage Dragon. And if you're talking about obscure Ninja Turtle things that I enjoy, it's the Jim Lee Ninja Turtles that came out. It was Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael, and if you look them up, they're fucking badass. Like I think they look like McFarlane made them. They're so badass. And the reason you don't have a Leonardo was because Leonardo in that world was dead, and Savage Dragon was going to be the leader. But when I was in my mid-20s, late 20s, mid-20s, the original artwork came up for sale on eBay for Jim Lee's Ninja Turtles. And included in that artwork set was the original concept art for Leonardo before they decided to kill him off. And that's the one thing that I never bought that I will regret forever, because you'll never find. I've got pictures of it on my phone, but like to have the actual painted artwork, like, and it wasn't that. I mean, it was expensive. It was like $200 per picture.
But the value then, $200 back then is the equivalent to you dropping $500 on cell shades now.
To buy all four would have been about $800. And you had to buy them together. Like in retrospect, if I had to do all over again, I'd have bought them because I had the green light to buy them, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll wait. And I waited and waited. Maybe the price will go down a little bit, and then somebody bought them, and I'm just like, shit. But yeah, those were really cool.
I was just gonna ask how much of the comics. So you've read pretty much the majority of the older comics, right? The Mirage. Like, where did you pick up IDW from the beginning? Did you like read some middle issues and then go buy volume 1 and or what?
As a kid, I started off with the cartoon comics that came out because you had
the Adventures, TMNT Adventures.
Because you had the IDW, which if you lived on the East Coast, you didn't even know about the IDW ones until years and years later, because they were pretty much released on the West Coast, and you either got them or you didn't. Now at this point in my adult life, I do have the first 10 IDW comic books, all CGC graded. So, and I do have a number 1. It's a third printing, but I do have a number 1. So that's kind of my favorite part of my collection that I still have. I would actually like to get as many of them as I can get all CGC graded, but yeah, I started with the cartoon and then started with the cartoon comics. That was the first my entry to comic books. And then the show and the toys. I remember the first time I ever saw Donatello, like a toy, was Lisa Miller had a Donatello on the bus. And it was like, I remember looking at it and touching it and just how awesome it was. And like, it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen at that point.
I have a Donatello. Right here. Yeah,
I remember clear as day, man. She had it on the bus. She brought it for show and tell, and like I'd never seen it, and I saw it, and then I immediately got off the bus and started bugging my mom to buy me Ninja Turtles. First Ninja Turtle I ever bought was at Kmart here in Princeton, which was up where Bojangles is now. The very first Ninja Turtle I ever bought wasn't even a Ninja Turtle. It was Usagi Yojimbo, which is kind of cool. Which is kind of interesting because if you know the history, Usagi Yojimbo was around before the Ninja Turtles and was his Stan Sakai. That's who created Usagi Yojimbo before the Ninja Turtles hit. And then they pulled him into that realm, and he was
Didn't he like the
cartoon
turtles
side.
so much that he was like, yeah, go for it?
Yeah. The thing with Stan Sakai is he always maintained ownership of Usagi Yojimbo. Usagi Yojimbo's had comic books and toys and stuff made up for that specific character since the Ninja Turtles. I mean, I've got all kinds of cool Usagi Yojimbo toys and stuff that just things that a lot of people don't even know exist just because, who the hell's the rabbit guy?
What would you say are like, I want to talk figures because you and I have like such a different like experience, and I never got to the most I collected like like when you were a kid and stuff was for me the 03. I was big into Turtles with the 2003 show. I had the video game. Like I remember because my dad was a little too old when the Turtles came out because he was a teenager when Transformers was big. So like even then he was like, man, like he was big in Transformers, but he was like, it was kind of one of those things where he was almost embarrassed of, I guess, he's like, oh, I'm 14. I shouldn't be playing with Transformers,
Right.
but like,
Right.
but, like what are some of the turtle figures that you remember seeing? You're just like, damn, or like, are there any from because I have a good bit, but like most of mine, I just started recently recollecting. So it started when I bought that 4-pack from GameStop. And then I bought all 4. I remember I sent you, remember when I lucked out and found all 4 of the Nickelodeon ones at Five Below for $4 each? And then I have the NECA. I don't have Rise and I don't have 03. I wish NECA was cheaper, man.
Well, and I know you've got a few sets of those for me that I need to get, but I really would like to get those because they're really following. It's so hard for me because they put those out and then they put the Super 7 Ninja Turtles out. And if you don't know what we're talking about, look up Super 7 Ninja Turtles. What's up, Tony Palmer? You doing all right, man?
There's 2 different Super 7s, right? You have the reanimation or reaction.
Yeah, not the reactions.
You like the big
ones.
ones, right?
I mean, they are the epitome of an action figure. But the NECA toys that they put out are a little truer to the vintage ones. So it's really hard. Like, I don't know, like collecting's so hard right now because like the secondary market is that the guys on the secondary market buy it all up and then you have to buy it from a scalper anyway. And that's like, I refuse to pay scalpers for shit. Like I just absolutely refuse. So I'm just kind of biding my time until the prices start getting back to normal, and it will eventually.
What is the perfect size, right? Like the 80s, Because weren't the He-Man figures the same size as this as well?
He-Man's a little bit bigger.
A little bigger.
Yeah. The He-Man toys were cool. They were just, they use like the same thing the G.I. Joes do. Like you've got the loop that goes through the legs into the body, and like that is prone to breaking. So the Ninja Turtles to me were the first ones that, they went rubber on rubber instead of using that plastic band. I mean, they're just really well made toys. Like, it's so funny because the concept for Ninja Turtles, where it started and how it got started, it was a joke. Essentially, it was just a joke. And there's been a lot of incarnations of the joke. What's it called? The radioactive gerbils and things like that. Like all kinds of different like ripoffs.
Middle-aged mutant Ninja Turtles. Was that the Saturday Night Live skit or what was that?
Yeah, I think so. But no, Ninja Turtle wise, like the old toys, like they're getting really hard to find, and then they're getting really expensive. And if you want the weapons and shit to go with them, like it's ridiculous.
They're not as bad now, man. If you're, I will say, I like to buy, if I see it in the store, I always buy boxed. But if I'm buying on eBay, I like to buy loose just because I like to. Turtles, like you said, they're the perfect size. You can set them. Like I have a whole little wall of them. I have there's a turtle in every room of my house. Little fun fact. Even in my living room, Morgan and I went to this like it was like a house. It's called Home Goods or some shit. Like I don't know what it is. At home is what it's called. And I bought this little thing for like the living room table, and it's just like this little long little like table. Kind of looks like a paddle almost, but like you can set stuff on it. And I just put it to put my wallet, but there's like a little, are they called like terratoriums or whatever? Like where they have the little bowl, glass bowl with plants and stuff. There's a fake little plant and it looks aquatic.
Terrarium.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. So I had one of those and I was like, I'm going to put Leonardo right beside him. And I just put him in there. And Morgan was like, do you need a Ninja Turtle? I was like, what? It works. I was like, he's by the plants. But
well, I think like, and let's touch on the future of the Ninja Turtles. I think like there's a lot of floating out there. I don't know what's true and what's not to this point. Like I know they're talking about what's his name?
Seth Rogen
doing an incarnation of the Turtles, which after watching Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe, even though I did like it, it was a little, I don't know, there was something about it that I just didn't care a whole lot for. I don't know what it, I can't,
you know
what it was.
You know what it might be? Honestly, no one would have had a problem with that show if he would have came out and said this was a She-Ra show.
That's it was
killing Adam in the first episode, dude. Like, I watched this and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, I admire the balls to do it. I really do, but I wanted to love that. I haven't watched season 2. I wanted to love it because it's. Have you ever like rooted for the villains and then when they finally win, you feel like a dick because you're like, "Well, I didn't want so and so to die."
Well, you always wanted to know what Skeletor would do if he had the sword of power. Like, what does that look like? And that's cool and all. Like, so I don't know. Like with Seth Rogen doing the Ninja Turtles, like, all I can think about is the movie Sausage Party, and then it's like, I don't know if that's the guy I want doing my Ninja Turtles. I'll tell you what I would like to see, and people might think I'm a little off for this. I want to see Frank Miller do a Ninja Turtle movie.
Did he do 300? Did he do, or did not 300? Because that was Snyder. Did he do Sin City himself?
Yeah. I would like to see it like a Sin City Watchmen-esque kind of story.
You could use The Last Ronin.
Like, eventually, that's not where I would want them to start. Because, like for a lot of people that haven't read the the original IDW, they don't realize how dark the world really is. Like you're so used to the 80s cartoon turtles that you don't realize that the comics that were written before that are not that at all. And I would like to see him do you could take it scene by scene, story by story through the death of Shredder. Because a lot of people don't realize, in the comic book, Shredder he wasn't in the comic books very long. He was dead.
No, not at all.
like a lot of people don't realize that. Like Shredder just got picked to be the bad guy in the cartoon, and while in the comic books, I think he's dead in like episode 3 or book 3 or book 4 or something like that. He's dead. And he is gone. So I would like to see him work just through that, but I want to see it shot kind of the way Sin City was shot, a lot of black and whites with a splash of color here and there, because that's the way the comic book was written.
So let me ask you this: with Leonardo being your favorite, would you be okay with? Because a lot of people get mad with Batman and stuff. Would you be okay with like a Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns? Leonardo is fed up and would you be cool with seeing all the Turtles be like, all right, beating these guys isn't enough. We have to do more extreme measures, if they not necessarily murder, but kind of like in the movie where Shredder fell and they were like, all right, he fell, that's not on us. He killed himself essentially.
Well, and that's the thing, because in the movie, Casey Jones, oops,
Yeah.
No, I think, well, I mean, here's the thing, you dismiss the cartoons and you go by the comic books. They're not all, slashy, punchy, blunty. They're using Chinese martial weapons. They're killing fools, I would like to see it. I would literally like to see it rated R, over the top, bloody, gory, nasty shit. And dig into the characters that aren't so, happy-go-lucky turtle, but who they really would be if they're out here fighting evil crime syndicates, killing these guys, and they just keep coming. That's what I would like to see.
I would like to see Raph finally go. I would like to see Raph essentially be Frank Castle, where he's I'd be okay with seeing him kill a major Turtles villain, and then that being a struggle point where Leonardo's we're never supposed to cross that line. And then maybe even have Michelangelo be like, look, man, if we didn't cross that line, all of the people we love would die, because that's kind of what I like about the Turtles is there really isn't, it's not really a battle too often where the villains are trying to take over the city. They're really all it's just a big mutant war. They're all just trying to kill each other.
Yeah. Well, and I think that would be fine too. Past the first movie, that first movie should establish, that they're not, from the very beginning, from the opening scene where, it's raining and you pan back and the lightning hits and you see the 4 brothers standing on the rooftop and it's got the water tower. I can already see it, the water tower in behind them, and the light hits and all you see is white shadows and black. And then all you see
yeah, dude,
no colored, because they weren't collared in the comic book. So
and then
no collar. But what you could do is, in a flash scene here, flash a red bandana, flash a blue bandana. Don't make it permanent, but flash it just to distinguish here and there. But you pan out and you can hear, Raphael going off about, like in a comic book, what he would say, we are the watchers of the night. And then, Leonardo or Raphael smacks him and tells him to shut up.
Shut up, dude.
Yeah, shut up,
perfect,
dude.
Perfect stuff.
And then, you see him you see the purple dragons attacking some lady, whatever, and they pop down and start
just
fighting.
A little mugging kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and then you start establishing the fact that they do use their weapons from the very beginning. You could even make it something bad, like a really bad crime.
who is this cat character? Is that an old 80s cartoon? Like there's so many villains that I feel bad for forgetting some of them. But I mean, there was 10 seasons and like 300 episodes, like you can't really expect someone who didn't grow up with the 80s.
And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of bad guys that they still haven't done. I mean, they could really. I'd love to see Frank Miller do it. I think it'd be great. Establish the funny side of it to a degree, but also make it super serious. And it's not your typical. Ninja Turtles don't kill people. They're going to cross the line from the very beginning. They're going to kill people. Like make that.
They're fucking turtles. Why should they care about humans?
Yeah, I mean they're protecting their city, and they've learned that you can't just knock these guys out because they just keep coming back. You could even have that a point of emphasis after they go back in, after they rescue the lady or whatever, and the dude's dead, and they go back in, and they're all arguing about the fact that killing people's not right, and Splinter's trying to tell them that, but at the same time they're also like, how many times can you let them go before the city's already overrun with bad guys, and now all the mutant issues, like how far can you actually let it go before you start dealing with the problem, and let that be just kind of a struggle inside of itself, inside of the story that you tell.
Because I mean, that's a tale as old as time. Is just heroes battling with their compass and trying to figure out like when is enough.
Because it's like me and you talk about all the time about Yoda and how Yoda is kind of a piece of crap, because like he has all this knowledge and he doesn't use it to help anybody, and he knows all these things and all these prophecies, and
he'd rather
just
be
lets
a
it
dickhead
happen.
and do riddles with. He'd rather do dickhead riddles instead of just making things happen, like you said. I don't know.
And that's the problem I've got. Like I've got that problem with like DC more than Marvel, because DC's synonymous for not letting its heroes kill people. Wolverine kills people all the time. Like shit. Like Cyclops.
You're getting stabbed in the heart.
Cyclops shoots laser beams. You think those guys survive? Like, come on. Like DC, like Batman, especially. Like okay, you have it. You're this rich playboy, and you have it in your power to start shutting down all these crazy fuckers in your city, and you don't do it because you have a moral obligation to not kill any of them. Like, what the crap is
based
that?
Off
like
of your experience, based off of your experience of losing
where your parents died. Yeah, like it's like man, if you just kill the Joker, he'd be gone. You wouldn't have to deal with him anymore. And you just killed this one, you just killed that one.
The Joker, I can't agree with him killing the Joker. I think there's some villain with as hypocritical as that sounds. The Joker, with him never killing the Joker, because it's insinuated in the Killing Joke that he does kill him, because they like tell that joke at the end and they both laugh, and then you just like pan out and Joker, you don't hear from Joker. Like I like the idea of Batman struggling to not kill the villains, but with the Joker, like him not killing him, you can't have, like, I complained about them forcing Joker in the new Batman film, but which the movie's been out for like 4 weeks, so I'm going to talk about it. Well, I won't disclose too many spoilers. There's nothing to spoil in that movie. It's just a crime movie. But I was upset when they showed Joker in the ending of the film, and I was like, man, like, do we have to fucking have him in everything? But then I sat down and I thought about it, and I was like, you can't really have Joker needs to be involved in every Batman project at some point, because he is the true measurement of Batman. He's the complete opposite.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like the Turtles have a more moral gauge, and I don't know if it's that they have a moral gauge or just the fact that because they live in the shadows, for the most part. So I don't know, man. Like, do you think the Turtles would struggle with killing as much as Batman, or
no? I don't.
Because I mean, in the Mirage comics, they were murdering people left and right.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what people don't realize. That's the only reason why, like, in your head, you can't wrap around them killing is because you grew up with the cartoon and watching the cartoons. But if all you had to go on for source material was the first 10 IDW books, you'd be like, yeah, we can make a movie where they kill people, not a problem. Like, it's not even a fault. And so I think, and with the Joker, like, I don't know, like, I get what you're saying. Like, he is Batman's measurement. Like, I understand that. But at the same time, like, you know, it's back to that whole, how long are you going to let all the good people suffer while you do nothing with the bad guys? Like,
Well,
at some point, it doesn't become, it should be more like I don't kill him because he's really hard to kill instead of I just choose not to do it.
yeah, I would agree with that, because like that's what I like is there's so many stories and multiverses, not just with Marvel. Which Joker is that's a tough one, man. I have a take. I love Ledger's, but let's have a discussion here. Do you think Ledger's Joker would still be as legendary if he didn't die almost immediately after? Like, he was great, but I have a hard time believing that people would like his Joker as much. I don't know. I think Ledger. I like the mania aspect of it. I just the Nolan trilogy is hard to gauge. Like, because Christian Bale got a writer that did a 3-film series, and a lot of the Batmans, like Schumacher had a great idea of what Batman was supposed to be. It's got to be Heath or Nicholson. I love Nicholson.
I like what Joaquin Phoenix did a lot.
Really? You like the mental health take?
Yeah, because that's the most accurate that it is. Like
the laughing disorder.
Like, because that's what it would be like, and that would be the starting point from where that character is birthed. And so you look at it and you're like, man, that's pretty fucked up. And then as it goes, it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's like Heath Ledger's character, like, as good as that was, like, it never really, everything that he explains about how he got where he was bullshit. Like, he had a story. Like, he made up a story about everything. And like, that's cool and all, but like, Joaquin Phoenix actually had a story. Like, period. Like, here's the story. Wait a minute.
And the whole ties to Bruce Wayne as well. I'm glad people are still tuning in.
Hold on. Still reporting messages. I thought I've got them all.
Really? That guy's back again? Can you not block him from the stream?
I did. I'm just.
Why is he sabotaging our stream of all streams?
Because people do that. People are just douchebags. Okay, there we go.
Talking turtles, man. Batman.
No, but
Tony, if you're still listening, man, we'd like to have you on sometime. I think that'd be fun if you get away from all them kids.
It's too loud at his house. But no, I mean, I really like Joaquin Phoenix and just that whole take on it, like his descent into madness, like, because coming from a psychology background with degree in behavioral health and stuff, like I totally got it. Like, I got it. And I don't know, Heath Ledger, what that performance was so good. I mean, it was so good. I mean, it'll never be topped as far as as what that was. But my favorite, Joaquin Phoenix by far. I thought it was and what sucks is they'll probably never do anything beyond that movie with that character, and that sucks. But I love the way it all came together.
Let me ask you, if you want, I can go first. We might have the same villain. What's your favorite Batman villain that's not Joker? Like for me, I'm a big Scarecrow guy. I love the idea because think about it. No one's ever made Batman scared except for him.
I like Bane an awful lot just because, and I'm talking the big muscular badass Bane. I like Bane.
The steroid luchador.
And then the thing is the problem. See, that was another problem that I had with those movies was Bane. They made Bane too mental and not physical enough in my eyes. Like because he's the Bane of Batman. That's why it's called Bane. He has the ability to literally
breaks his back.
Yeah, to literally kill him. Like he is the opposite of Batman. And to put those two together in a movie where Batman actually has to stand up to Bane, he would have to kill him. That makes sense? Like, because if you at that point it becomes kill or be killed. So
right, and especially
what do you do there?
Especially in Dark Knight Rises, when Bane has a button that could blow up all of Gotham City. Like it's either you kill him or everyone dies because you chose not to kill. And I get it. It's the superhero way for Batman to always find his way to use his brain and not have to kill people. But I mean, it's crazy because like we got Batfleck and he had no problem killing, but everybody was mad about it. And I'm like, where do you guys assume that Batman doesn't kill? He's killed plenty of times. Do you think when he pushes someone off of a roof that they land in a trash can every time, like into a dumpster? I mean, seriously, like
they do.
What have you seen that video? I know. I think you've seen it in our chat before, where it's like Batman. They're like, "No, Batman, you killed him." And he's like, "No, he's sleeping." It's just him saying, "I didn't kill him. He's asleep." It's like Daredevil. Daredevil's flawed in that way. Speaking of Turtles and Batman, I heard the third comic is nuts. It's like I was talking with a guy at my local comic shop the other day, and he was saying it just came out like last year, I think, but he was saying it's really, really good. Like they take like Bane, I think they take Bane's venom and inject it into I don't know if like Krang and Bane like make a hybrid together or what, but it's like it's pretty nuts.
I'd like to read those. I'd like to have all those too. Well, man, it's getting late here. I'm gonna have to check out. I'm getting sleepy.
Yeah, you're good. I got a long day tomorrow. I'm assuming I got to spend time with my family.
I gotcha. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. This is the 304 podcast here on Facebook and YouTube. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit that little live notification ding on YouTube and on Facebook. Give us a follow on GGTV. We dwindled down to Ming and CP tonight. We didn't have Big Puck, didn't have Tim. They weren't able to make it. But we did have McFly, and, of course, we now have a Tennessee Volunteer fan amongst us, so rock on. Dude, I'm just not even going to say anything. I'm not even going to say anything. It is what it is.
I give it a month and a half.
It is what it is. I'm just not worried about it.
What if it's the end? What if this is the end?
I hope
of the
it is.
series?
I hope it is, but it's not. It's not. It's not. You know it's not. Like you get it. You think maybe this is the one. It's not. The season will start. The season will start. Their fans will start checking batteries, and it'll be over.
Mustard bottles, not batteries.
Mustard bottles. What? It's the same difference. The ugly.
Just for Lane Kiffin, though.
I'm gonna buy Mark a box of creamsicles to celebrate.
Tampa Bay's happy to have Brady back another year because where they're bringing those back next year.
I hope he stays. I think the Miami talk. I think there's more to it than just talk.
I don't believe that. I really don't.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Well, guys, we're going to sign off for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. 304 podcast Out.